this is as real as it gets.
This is Nash Gruner, the son of Olivia Gruner, and you are listening to the UCW radio show, In Your Face.
The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
You're listening to UCW Radio.
In Your Face.
Give it to me, baby.
All right, welcome back to the UCW Radio Show, and I want to thank you for joining us again for yet another great show. We have another great guest that's going to be coming on in a minute. I just want to remind all of our listeners to let you know that you can actually go and listen to all our past shows at ucwmagazine.com and get to know our guest. Our special guests that come on. You know, there's some inspirational, some amazing people that come on, from Hollywood to music, authors, so on and so forth, athletes, some great people that you want to get to know, and you can follow them on social media. Their links are on there on their profile page, and find out more about them. And our guest today is, it's right in that realm. She's an Olympian. She holds numerous records in track and field to this day. And she's doing some amazing things for young athletes. She's been doing it for the past 5-6 years. And it's just an amazing thing. I don't want to get too much into it. I want her to actually speak about it. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Olympian Sharrieffa Barksdale to the UCW Radio Show. All right, Sharrieffa, hi, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Doing great, Lou. Doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm happy. I'm doing good.
Well, glad that you give me the opportunity to be on the show.
Well, you know what? Why wouldn't I give you the opportunity? Olympic gold medalist. You've done so many things. You're doing more great things now. Let's highlight what you have going on.
Okay.
Well, what I want to do is, as I do with all my shows, and I just repeat it on each show, I want to go back to the beginning. So that our listeners have a good idea of where you were, where have you been, and where you are today, so they can follow your journey, because you have a lot of things going on now that are, you're continuing to move forward. So let's start at the beginning. How did you get involved in track and field?
Well, Lou, how I got involved in track and field is that I was a freshman in high school, and my brother ran track. Mm-hmm. And so I really follow in the footsteps of my brother, because I really wanted to be like him. Mm-hmm. So he was my hero. He was everything to me, because of the fact that my father died when I was 9 years old. My brother was 12. So I started running track and found out that I could run. Mm-hmm. And so as time went on, it was my freshman year, and I didn't make to the state. Mm-hmm. And then my sophomore and junior year, I kept climbing up the ladder. But if it wasn't for Ralph Boston, who was the gold medal winner in 1964 in the long jump, I don't think that my track career would have taken off the way it had.
Why is that?
Because Ralph Boston took an interest in me, and he saw something in me that I didn't see as a child. Mm-hmm. So he lived in Knoxville, Tennessee, and so he had me on his track club called the Knoxville Track Club. Mm-hmm. And I would drive back and forth from Harriman, Tennessee, my hometown, to Knoxville during the summertime. Mm-hmm. And he said, Miss Barksdale, he told my mother, he said, Miss Barksdale, you have a diamond in the rough. Says she has everything it takes to get a scholarship to a D1 school. So my mother said, oh, really, Ralph, do you really think that Sharrieffa has that? And so he said, oh, yes, ma'am. So he talked my mother into letting me go to this camp in Denton, Texas. It was an all-women's school. And so that summer, my mother allowed me to go to Denton, Texas with Ralph Boston to a track camp.
And it was that defining moment that kind of put you on a path to some greatness.
Yes, and what was so funny is as my junior year approached, I went to the state meet. I took second and third place, mm-hmm. and then my senior year, I went to the state meet by myself. Mm-hmm. I ran the 100, the 200. I did the long jump, the high jump, and the 100 yards hurdle. Back then it was yards, it wasn't meter. Mm-hmm. I set records in all or those events. In fact, all of those events I still hold all the records except for the 100-meter hurdles, and it was broken about maybe 3 years ago. I single-handedly won the state meet by myself.
Oh, wow.
And that's when all the colleges started looking at me. When I was in college, when I was in high school, no one really looked at Sharrieffa. You know, yeah, she was good, she was this, but she wasn't, you know, that D1 material.
Nobody believed in you.
No one believed in me except for this one man at Old Dominion, Dr. Gibson, Coach Gibson. And he kept on recruiting me, and my heart, you know, a piece of my heart wanted to go there because of the fact that he was the only one that was recruiting me. Mm-hmm. But then another piece wanted to go to University of Tennessee because my brother, Val Barksdale, who played football there, was the first true freshman to ever start at University of Tennessee in football as a free safety. So I'm like, dang, I really want to go to University of Tennessee. And I also wanted to go to Tennessee State, the Tiger Bear, because of Wilma Rudolph was my hero. Mm-hmm. And Ralph Boston put Wilma Rudolph on the phone with me, and she gave me words of encouragement before I won the state meet my senior year. So no one was looking at little old Sharrieffa, you know, okay, she's from Harriman, Tennessee, blase, blase. So then the day that I was going to sign my scholarship with Old Dominion, University of Tennessee called and said they wanted me. And my mother said, Sharrieffa, are you sure you want to go there? Because they're not offering you a full scholarship. This is only a partial scholarship. I said, Mama, I'm going to University of Tennessee. I know I can work hard enough to get a full scholarship. So I had to call the people from Old Dominion, and Coach Gibson, he was so sweet. He understood because I really wanted to go to Tennessee. So I ended up signing a partial scholarship the next week with University of Tennessee. Well, as I go, after my senior year was over, when I go and get checked into the dorm at University of Tennessee, and there was Benita Fitzgerald, there was Delisa, there was Joetta Clark. So you have all of these potential Olympians that had and that was at the University of Tennessee. So I'm like, oh my God. I said, I'm going to have to, you know, really run. So I remember one thing that Ralph Boston said. He said, Sharrieffa, when you go there to University of Tennessee, always be at the front of the pack. Said, let them look at your back, not you looking at their backs. So I always remember that. So as time went on, I made All-America my freshman year. So I went into the office to Terry Crawford, who was the coach back then, and I said, Terry, you know, I'm doing A through Z. I think I deserve a full scholarship. So she said, well, you do, Sharrieffa. So at that point, she ended up giving me a full scholarship. I ended up running very well in so many events at the University of Tennessee. And then I became later an Olympian in 1984. And in 1983, I set the American record.
Well, Sharrieffa, I want to step back a little bit to college. When you took that partial scholarship and you took that leap of faith, because that's a leap of faith, because no one was bankrolling the rest of your schooling. So this is stuff you had to do on your own, and it was a risk.
Yes.
So you went there not knowing what was going to happen.
But I went there knowing, you know, I knew that I knew what type of person I was, because I'm a very determined, very dedicated, very motivated, and I knew I had the willpower. Only thing I needed was that window of opportunity. And once that opportunity was presented to me, I knew without a shadow of doubt that I could run with those girls that was on that team. Nobody couldn't tell you that I couldn't, because I know me. I know who I am and what I am and who I am. So I knew at that point, come hell of high water, Sharrieffa was going to be there with those other potential Olympians.
I love it. That's why, I mean, see, when you take those risks and you believe in yourself, and that's the big thing, believing in yourself, you believe in yourself, and you can actually go and you can envision what can happen. Then going, and again, you were there in a position, yes, partial scholarship, you don't know how you're going to pay the rest of the scholarship. You're there hustling and you're running your heart out. You're listening to a coach that believed in you, and you're making things happen. Then for you to go to the admissions office and say, hey, you need to give me a full scholarship because I'm that good.
Right. And you know what? And the thing about it is, I worked hard because at the end of the day, whether back then or today, anything that people do in life, when you put in the work, when you put in the dedication at the end, you cannot hide hard work because it's going to be a proven fact that you worked hard. And I never will forget when we were, it was indoor meet. And I always wanted to go to the Melrose game, but I wasn't good enough to go to the Melrose game because Terry she took her very best at the Melrose game. So we finally got to go to the Melrose game. We was going to go for the 4x4 relay. It was Joetta Clark, Delisa Walton Floyd. It was Kathy Rattray and myself. Well, the week before we were supposed to go to Melrose game, Kathy Rattray had a stress fracture.
Oh, wow.
So we didn't get to go. So I was just like crying, like, oh my God, I cannot believe this is the opportunity for me to go to the Melrose game and now we can't go. But you know, in life, you know, back then I didn't understand, but in order for us to succeed in life, we have to fall. We will have setbacks, but we let those setbacks only hold back temporarily. But that's when you have to get up, dust yourself off, and get back on that horse and ride it.
And you face adversity, and just going back to your childhood and growing up, I mean, you dealt with a lot of loss, and you had to follow. And your role model wasn't another woman; it was your brother who was actually making stuff happen. So it kind of pushed you in that direction, and you believed in yourself, and you kept going. But you know, facing that adversity, as you just said, and falling down and getting back up, if it doesn't kill you, it's just going to make you stronger, right?
Right. And see, when I was in high school, we didn't have a track. I ran on grass. I ran on dirt. So we didn't have a track. And then after I made the Olympic team, then when I went back home, they built a track named Sharrieffa Barksdale track stadium. And then they gave me the key to the city, and I have a street that was named after me. But those things came with hard work. If I hadn't worked hard and had a dream and had a vision, none of those would have come to pass.
I love it. You know, and the thing is, Sharrieffa, you know, this is why you and I get along. This is why, you know, I have the utmost respect for you, is because you have accomplished so many things, but your level of being humble is ridiculous. The humility that you have, because you know what it is not to have.
Right.
And what you do for kids, and we're going to talk about what you're doing for kids, you know, after the break, because we're going to take a break in a little bit, you know, but just what you've done, and then to go from nothing, and you went to the Olympics. So actually, you know what? Let's talk about, did you go to the Melrose Games before the Olympics?
No, I went to the Melrose Games in 1986. Never had the opportunity to run there until after the Olympics.
Okay, so let's go into the Olympics. How did you get on the Olympic team?
Okay, well, I'm gonna back up to 1983. No, actually 1982. Terry Crawford called me into the office, and so she said, Sharrieffa, she said, I'm going to take you out of the 110 hurdles because I don't think you're good enough, because we already have our number one hurdler, Vanita Fitzgerald. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, so this lady, she got me up here at University of Tennessee. Now she's telling me that she doesn't think that I'm good enough for the 100-meter hurdles. So being brought up the way my mother brought us up is that no matter what you do in life, you have to have a positive and great attitude.
Sure.
So I said, okay, this coach, she gave me the opportunity, so I'm going to listen to what she has to say. So she said, okay, Sharrieffa, you've been running the 400. You've been on the relay, and you've been All-America. So I want to try you in the 400-meter hurdles. Now, mind me, this is a foreign language to me. You're talking about the 400-meter hurdles, running 10 hurdles all the way around the track, and you won't lift the Sharrieffa to run this. So she said, yes, I do. I said, okay, Terry. So, you know, I got there, and I was trying to get my steps down and stuff like that. Now, mind me, I'm still determined to conquer this because failure is not in my vocabulary. Can't is not in my vocabulary. No is not in my vocabulary. So I knew I had a job to do in order to keep my scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
So I did really well in the 400-meter hurdles in 1982. So she sent me to Palo Alto, California by myself to run in a track meet.
Mm-hmm.
So I ran and I won. A man by the name of Brooks Johnson came to me. He said, "Young lady," he said.
So you went to Palo Alto, California by yourself, without your team, without any support, to go run in a race for your school, and not knowing anybody over there. I love it. It's good stuff.
Right. And so I'm like, I'm nervous because that morning before the race, I couldn't eat anything. Only thing I did, I can remember like it was yesterday, is I drunk some tea.
Mm-hmm.
So after I won the race, now mind me, my steps were off. I really didn't know how to run, and my steps were off and all that kind of stuff. So a man named Brooks Johnson came to me. He said, "Young lady," he said, "you have a future in these 400-meter hurdles." He said, "You messed up on your step, but your speed is so incredible that's how you run." He said, "What got you here? Always remember, what got you here will keep you here." So in 1983, a man by the name of Lawrence Seagrave came to University of Tennessee. He ended up coaching me and coached me to my American record, which I was the first one to run under 55 in the 400-meter hurdles. My American record was 54.90.
Mm-hmm.
And from then, I just took off and ended up perfecting the 400-meter hurdles, where I was able to alternate. I was the type of runner, if you're going to catch Sharrieffa, you're going to have to really bring it, because I'm taking it out. I'm talking about whatever I have left at the end of the race. If I have to die at the end of the race, you're going to die with me, but I'm taking that race out.
Nice. So you set the standard.
Yes.
So now you were in California. You ran that race and you put your heart into it. And what happened after that?
Okay, then after that, like I said, I set the American record. I was home in 1983 and set the American record at the Tom Black Track Classic. Okay. So my mom and everybody came up, and in fact, my mom sung the national anthem right before the race.
Right.
And so, that really hyped me up, knowing that my mom sung the national anthem. I'm there at the track meet. Everybody, I'm running in front of my hometown. I'm running in front of my brother, everyone. So I knew that I was going to set the American record that day, because the night before I ran that race over and over and over in my head.
It was done before you hit the track.
Yes, I knew I was gonna set the American record.
And so most people would get nervous knowing that everyone in town is there and looking at them. But for you, you were like, I ran this race already. I'm just going through the physical motion.
Right, but now I was nervous, because every race that I raced, I was nervous. Oh, let me tell you, I would break out into hives. I would throw up before I ran, and I was a basket case. But I knew once that gun went off, I was good to go. But before then, I was a basket case.
But then when you hit that track, you kind of went into your own
world. It was over.
Right.
Yes, I was in my own world.
But that's good stuff. See, because a lot of people, and I love the story. I love the story because a lot of people, when they face adversity or they face an issue, or they face some sort of obstacle that's in their way, they let it stop them from going after their dreams, from fighting for what they believe and fighting for what they want. And you are a prime example, Sharrieffa. You're a prime example of someone that didn't let that get in their way. You're a prime example of someone that actually took that, hugged it, and took it with them as they move forward.
Yes,
and
at that particular time.
Now, how proud was your brother? How proud was he when you won?
Oh, he was very proud. I mean, my mom and they just could not believe that I had set the American record. It was a dream come true.
And he probably stood there and said, "Yeah, that was my fault." but that's good, because you made your mama proud, you made your family proud, and you again, as you said, you got the key to the city. But how now you did that? How where did you go from there? How did you get onto the Olympic team? Was that the moment?
Well, that year in 1983, the USA Track and Field came out with the IAAF and USA Track and Field is the whole combined body had a team that's called the World Championship team, which in fact, the World Championship this year will be the end of August the 22nd over in Beijing, China. But we were the first one to make the World Championship, which was held in Helsinki, Finland, which was Jackie Joyner Kersey. She was on the team. Valerie Briscoe, Chandra Cheeseborough, Carl Lewis, Flojo, Greg Foster, Benita, Delisa, Joetta Clark, all of us, we were all on this first United States of America World Championship team. So they kind of calculated, if you make the World Championship team, 9 out of 10, you will make that Olympic team. But some people that made the World Championship didn't make the Olympic team. So I went over to Helsinki, made the World Championship team, got sick the day before the semifinal of my race. I had what was it called? I can't think. But anyway, I was rushed to the hospital and was really, really sick. And Dr. Adam, who is still the team physician for the United States Track and Field, he's the head physician. Took me there. So he said, so I was real sick. They had to, draw blood and everything. So he said, Sharrieffa, you're not you won't be able to run the next day. I said, oh, yes, I am. He said, no. He said, sweetheart, you're not understanding. He said, you're weak. I did not care. I was going to get out there and run. So here I go again, getting in those blocks and determined to make that final of that, the first United States World Championship team. I ended up taking 9th at the very end. A girl, in fact, Sandra Farmer Patrick, who is my best friend, she outlinked me at the end, so I didn't make it to the final. But my determination was not, and being sick was not going to stop me from running in that semifinal.
Wow, and you could have easily said, yeah, okay, I'm not going to run. And then your whole story would have changed.
Yes.
See, it's that determination. So from there,
and you know what? And you know what, Lou?
What?
You know what determination comes in is because when we were growing up, my mom and my dad, they instilled that in us. They said nothing in life is free. So don't ever let anyone tell you that something in life is free. You have to work at it because you want to respect the next person. You want to treat them the way you want to be treated. And if whatever God has for you is for you, work hard, be smart, and always give God the praise and the glory and respect your fellow person.
And these are the words you live by. And
yes.
And again,
and I teach my children.
Yeah. And the thing is, we're going to take a break in a second, but when we come back, we're going to talk about how you got on that Olympic team, and then we're going to talk about everything else you have going on because, we're not going to have the opportunity during the whole show to put everything in here because we would have a 5-hour, miniseries.
Yes.
So, but we're going to take a quick break right now, and we're going to come back with you, to go over, some other things. I mean, cause your story is compelling. You have me wanting to even re-listen to this after we're done.
Okay, thank you for having me.
All right, no problem. So just stay with us, and listeners, stay with us. We're going to be back with Olympic gold medalist Sharrieffa Barksdale on the UCW radio show.
Many times confusion blinded my whole life. Many times I lost myself looking for love. Many times I get myself in heart and soul. And pain and sorrow were leftovers in my life. Once and again I fell over the same mistake. A fake illusion pulled myself away from me. I tried to find in someone else, but now I know the answer is inside of me. And now I'm finally back to you. wanted more and more non-stop. I thought the dreams were only dreams and nothing more. I never cared about me, I was so naive. And now I've learned to put myself in the first place. Many times confusion blinded my whole night. Many times I lost myself looking for love. Many times I gave myself in heart and soul, and pain and sorrow were left over. See in my life, back to me, being how I should be. I should hide the fears that covered my life. I'm finally back to me. Beginning till the end of my days, now I know what I need is inside of me. Now I'm back to
All right, welcome back to the UCW radio show, and we've been speaking with an Olympian here, Sharrieffa Barksdale. Sharrieffa, welcome back after
Thank you.
this little break. Your story very compelling. Very compelling. And when we left off before the break, we were talking about how you got on the Olympic team. So let's go into that.
Okay, well, 6 months before the Olympic trials, I had strained my hamstring really bad, and so did Benita Fitzgerald. Mm-hmm. And so we were like, oh my gosh, will we even be able to get our hamstring right before we even go out there and compete? So with all the rehab and everything, we finally got our hamstring, probably I would say about 80, 85%. It wasn't 100% because Benita and we both had to wear those hamstring sleeves on our hamstrings.
Okay.
So we went out there to, in fact, Chandra Cheeseborough was living in Knoxville, Tennessee. And so that was during the summertime. So I lived with her during the summer. So we would train and everything. So we was packing up, getting ready to go out to L.A. for the 1984 Olympic trials. And so I said, we need to pack enough clothes where we won't have to come back here to Knoxville, Tennessee, because we're getting ready to make this team, and we're getting ready, after we make the team, to go to Europe to compete. So she said, I know that's right, Sharrieffa. She said, I know that's right. So we packed up our stuff because we knew that we was going to be on that team. Mm-hmm. So we head out there to L.A. So my mom and everybody, all my sisters and stuff was back in Tennessee. So now it's time for my race to begin. Now, I done made it through the other rounds because Lauren Seagrave and Terry Crawford had already told us how to preserve our energy before the final, in hoping that we would make it to the finals. Okay. So now we're coming out of the tunnel. So, remember, I just told you that I'm a basket case. Right. I get high and I break out into the sweat and I get sick. So we're walking down there and so we walk into the starting line. So there was, I was ranked, at that time I was ranked number 2, because in the past I was ranked number 1. So this girl by the name of Judy Brown King, they had me winning. They had Judy Brown King coming in second. They had Lori McCullough coming in third. That's what the predictions were. Mm-hmm. So we get on the track, and so, it said, the man, he comes on, he said, runners, take your mark. By this time, I'm sick. I'm about to throw up, and I throw up. And so now this is on TV.
This is on
So
TV
Renard,
that you threw up?
Yes,
Nice.
yes, and I'm throwing up. So Renard O'Neill Meyer, which they call Skeet, which was a commentator back then, he said, "Oh my God," he said, "I cannot believe we're gonna have to go to a commercial break." Sharrieffa Barksdale just threw up. So now everybody's mad because I done threw up on the track, and they have to come and wipe my lane off. So now they go to a commercial break now. So now I'm gathering my composure. So now we get back on there. So they say, "Runners, take your mark." So we get down there in the blocks and everything. So the gun goes off. Now, remember, I told you if I'm going to take that. They're going to have to come and catch me.
Right.
So I'm over that first hurdle. So I'm running. So now we're coming down that straightaway. So now I see Judy Brown pass me. So now remember now, when you're running, because you see somebody pass, you start to tighten up because you're trying to, beat that person. So I'm tightening up. I can feel this tightness in my shoulder rising up. Mm-hmm. So now Judy Brown passes me. So then this girl from Florida State, I know Angela because Angela Wright, we ran against each other, but she wasn't even supposed to have been in there. So now I see Angela Wright pass me. So that's the first and second spot to make the Olympic team because they only take 3. So like I'm thinking I got to get up on, I got to make this Olympic team. Lord Jesus, I got to make it. So then Lori McCullough and I leaned at the finish line. So now they done popped up Judy Brown, number 1, Angela Wright, number 2. So I'm sitting and Lori McCullough, we sitting on the ground waiting for that final one. I knew that I had outleaned her. I just knew I had. So we're still waiting. Seemed like it was like maybe 30 minutes, but I know it was probably maybe 2 or 3 minutes. So then when they flashed up, Sharrieffa Barksdale, let me tell you, I'm smiling right now. Man, I jumped up. I turned cartwheels. I was screaming like I had freaking lost my mind. That was the best day of my life when I was named to the United States of American Olympic team to represent our country. Man, it's like I was there. I'm reliving it.
Yeah, but that's amazing stuff because how many people can say that they've done that? And it's not even just doing it, it's how you did it.
Yes.
It's the journey, and that's why I love doing this show because it's the journey to how you got there. Because if you would have made one wrong move, if you didn't get along with your brother or you had an argument with him, you probably wouldn't have did that. If your mother would have said, you know what? No, I don't think I'm gonna let her do that, and then you didn't go to the summer camp, then things would have been different. A lot of things would have been different for you. It's just one slight change, which is really interesting.
Right, and it's so amazing. But I didn't let my hamstring affect me. I didn't let anything clog my mind because my main thing was making an Olympic team. And out of the corner of because I was in lane 5. Lori McCullough was in lane 6, and I just glanced at her at the corner. I'm like, oh no, not today, sister girl. And I outleaned her. I mean, I really said that, not today, sister girl. I outleaned her, and it was like I say, it was just I can't even believe it to this day that I made that Olympic team.
Well, you did.
Because you know what? That was my dream as a child growing up, because I used to read about Wilma Rudolph, and I would see and hear about Wilma Rudolph because that was my idol. But what really, really sparked a fire under me is when I was a freshman in high school. I'm going to take you back to my freshman year in high school, and I went to the library. And I asked the librarian, I said, can you give me a book on Wilma Rudolph? And so she said, why do you want a book on Wilma Rudolph? I said, because one day I'm going to be an Olympian. She said, oh, silly girl, you're not going to be an Olympian. So she did not help me find a book on Wilma Rudolph. So it took me about 30 minutes to find the book. I found it, checked it out, and took it home. Well, after I made the Olympic team, I'm going to take you back. After I made the Olympic team and came back home, they had this big celebration for me. So the woman, the librarian who told me this, she had to give me an award, standing up there, and had to introduce me. So she said in front of everybody, I have so much respect for her, because she said it in front of everybody that was there at my ceremony. She said, I'm the librarian that told Sharrieffa, why do you want the book on Wilma Rudolph? And I want to apologize to her in front of everyone, because if she would have listened to me, she probably wouldn't have been an Olympian. So for that, I respect her. So, if there's a child, if there's anyone out there that has dreams and goals, never let anyone tell you that you can't, because you can. Mm-hmm. You can do anything, whether you old, young, and you want to go back to school, if you want to do this or that, you can do it. You can do it.
And it's just about making it happen and believing in yourself, and that's what you've been doing your whole life, Sharrieffa. You believed in yourself, and the thing is not only do you believe in yourself, and not only did you get as I said earlier, you got the key to the city. They built a track. I mean, you went from running on grass to representing this country and with legends. And
yes,
and it's just, I mean, these are people that are in the history books, and you were part of that. And I think that's amazing. That's amazing stuff, because there will never be a 1984 Olympic team like there will never be repeated that I think anyway in history, because you have those moments. You have those moments that stand the test of time, and that was one of them.
Yes, and what's so amazing, Lou? What's so amazing is that the times that we ran back there in 1984 are the times that they're running here in 2015.
Right. But if you see, and here's the funny thing, that if your records that you made, that's a benchmark for people. They say, hey, you know what? It can be done. And it forces people to fight harder to try to do it and do better. Because you don't want them to just do what you do better than what I did.
Do better. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and that's what you hope for. That's why I know when somebody breaks your record that you're going to be happier for them than they are for themselves.
Yes, because records are made to be broken. Right. And if someone can break my records, that's great. If someone can break another person, that's great. I'm proud of them. I'm proud when I see other young people accomplish the goals that they have set out to accomplish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's, again, you inspire so many people, and I want to go back to when you first were able to go on to that summer camp, because that person that gave you that opportunity, they have an influence on your life today, because you're giving that opportunity to another generation of future Olympians today.
Yes, yes. And, that was my first time riding on an airplane. So my mom said, now, Sharrieffa, said, when you go on the airplane, you're going to have some turbulence. So don't be scared. You just sit there and pray to God and let God take you where you need to be. And Ralph Boston, let me tell you something. That man, oh my goodness, Ralph Boston, he believed in me so much that he was there from the beginning to the end. And to this day, Ralph and I, we still talk and communicate to this day.
Well, Ralph, glasses up to you, because him believing in you gave you the opportunity and is even allowing us to do this show today.
Yes, sir, and I'm very grateful and very honored to be on your show.
Well, thank you for that. Now, I want to talk about what the great thing you're doing with your summer camp.
Well, I have a summer camp that I partner with Center College. And before we partnered with Center College, Jackie Joyner Kersey and I were best friends, and we had the camp. We started the camp a year prior to partner with Center College. Mm-hmm. And what we wanted to do was bring in other Olympians and have them to be a part and give back to the young kids that was part of the camp. And so the camp now has been in progress for 6 years. Mm-hmm. It was 1 year with Jackie Joyner Kersey and I, and then the last 5 years has been at Center College with Lisa Owens, who is the director of Maximum Velocity Track and Field Academy.
But you, when you have the opportunity you give to these kids, I want you to go through that, because I know the story, but our listeners don't. Why don't you tell us what opportunity you actually give to them?
Well, we give out at least 20 to 25 scholarships. And we want them to be able, if they have a dream, we want them to be able to fulfill that dream by coming to the camp. And I have brought in a world record holder, Kevin Young, Olympian, and he's Olympian, and Olympian Dwight Phillip. I brought in Olympian Aretha Thurman, Rose Mundy, who is part of the United States Olympic staff, and she just been named to the 2016 Olympic staff. Brought in Terrence Trammell, Doc Patton, just a numerous of Olympians that have given up their time to come in to help another athlete fulfill their dreams.
So you give away scholarships, but it's beyond the scholarship for a kid to go, a young athlete to go to a summer camp for track and field, and for them to sit on a daily with Olympians, people that been there, people that that set records, for them to learn from them. How do you put a price tag on that? You can't.
You can't. You know what's so great about it? That the athletes, the kids that have come to the camp, they have went on to be a part of the Junior Olympics. We had five youth that went to the Junior Olympics for the USA track and field, and then we had about 6 or 7 that participated in the AAU Junior Olympics. So they're learning from the best, and when you can learn from the best, 9 out of 10, and if you have someone pushing you, you're going to be the best. We had Tyson Gay that has come and participate. Batman Brashawn Jackson. It's just been Otto Bowden from Trinidad. He's done the camp. So giving back to these kids and letting them get the opportunity to experience learning from the best, from the Olympians, that's a dream come true for me, because I want to give back, because someone gave to me.
And you're paying it forward, and that's the best way you can do it, by giving an opportunity, to people, these athletes that normally they wouldn't have this opportunity.
No, sir, they wouldn't. And then at the end, I asked them, well, not even at the end, every time we break right before lunch, I point to one of the athletes that's sitting in the crowd, and I asked them, what did you learn today? Because if you hadn't learned anything, then we're not doing our job. Mm-hmm. So I want to know, what did you learn? So they can tell me, hey, I learned this today. I learned how to do this. I know how to do a drive phase. Lauren Williams, she came right off from winning the silver medal for bobsledding, and she came to the camp and gave back to the youth.
Wow, that's great stuff. That's great stuff, because, the thing is, these young athletes, for them to just have that experience, and it means the world to them. When you and I were at the Melrose Games recently, just looking at these young athletes, and when they got to meet you and their eyes opened up like big saucers, because they were like, I'm with an Olympian, and they got so excited. They didn't even know what to say. But just having that impact on people in a positive way is fantastic. And a lot of these young athletes, they need that. They need something to reach for. They need someone to inspire them to say, hey, you know what? I did this, so could you. And that's what you've been doing all this time.
Well, thank you. And I try, it's by the grace of God.
I'm watching. I'm always watching, so I know. I know what you're doing.
And you know what? It's by the grace of God, because God has truly, Lou, blessed me with a lot of talent. Mm. And I want to give back. It's just like my daughter. She has a classmate in college that this is her last year. Mm-hmm. And so she said, Miss Sharrieffa, she said, can you train me? I said, if you can get up here to Lexington, Kentucky, I will train you. She stayed at my house. I trained her for a month and a half, and now she's gone back to college today with my daughter. So I want to give back. Mm-hmm. No matter whether it's small, big, or whatever, I want to give back, because, again, it was given to me.
And I love that attitude. And the thing is, too, is that, that determination and that something extra inside of you, it trickled down to your kids.
Yes.
Let's talk about, you have 2 kids that are doing some amazing stuff.
Yes, yes, and I'm one of those parents that's very, very proud of them. But, Lou, when you bring up your children and you bring them up in the admonition of the Lord, and, again, I have to give honor and thanks to God, because without him ordering my footsteps, and if it was not for me being hard on my children the way I am hard on them, I don't think that they will be able to accomplish what they have accomplished. Anything that my children ask of me, I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to give them 100%, nor shortchange them. I'm going to give them 200%. Right. My daughter, Gentelle, she attends St. Augustine University in Raleigh, North Carolina. She was just named the queen of the school, and she does her internship for the CIAA. She just finished her internship with USA Track and Field. She's a sideline reporter. She has her own show that's called Welcome to the G Show, and she just has blossomed. And she's made the dean's list ever since day one that she's been in college. My son, he's getting ready to go into his senior year in high school. He's a football player, and he's been recruited by different colleges and stuff like that. So just staying on them and making sure that they seek God first, follow their dreams, and never let no one tell them that they can't or cannot, because they are somebody. They will let nothing stand in their way, because the sky's the limit. And I have programmed that into them since they were little, because I used to have a dance group that was called Kentucky Diamonds, KD Boys, and Top Notch. And so it started with them, and I went and did it for the inner city children free. So I would raise money and send them all over the United States. We would do praise dances. We went to Washington, D.C., Atlanta, everywhere to perform. But we also gave back to the community, because I took them into the nursing home to perform for the elderly. Right. Let them know one day we will become old, and someone may have us in the nursing home, and we will hope someone will come back and give to us through praise dancing and just visiting and talking to them.
It's all about giving something back and paying it forward and doing some good. And, I speak about this all the time. I don't care how successful you are. If you're not giving back, you're not so successful.
That's right.
You have to give
That's
back,
right.
because it's not for us to keep. You have to.
That's right.
You have to give it back.
That's right. You have to give it back.
You can borrow it, but you have to give it back and kind of send that elevator down for other people to rise up. And that's what we do in life, but even with your kid, your kids are doing great stuff, and tell your daughter she cannot have my job. Tell her, but you'll have ESPN knocking on her door at some point. I'm sure about that. She has I've seen her in action. She has a future, and your son too. He's out there hustling on the field, doing his thing. He has his own persona, which is fantastic. He's doing. I mean, he's getting ready for the NFL, I think.
Well, I'm trying to get him that college scholarship and everything. Trying to get him there. He went to University of Tennessee football camp, and he ended up getting 3 interceptions there. And then this just past 2 weeks ago, he was on a 7 and got 3 interceptions and everything. So I worked with him on his speed, getting his 40 time down. So he's coming along. He's just got to keep grinding, keep working hard, because at the end of the day, as I tell him, you cannot hide hard work. If you put in the hard work, things are going to come to you.
And how cool is it to have a mom that was an Olympian that knows how to run, knows how to jump, and he's getting taught by the best. That's great.
Thank you. And, and like I told him, I said, you just have to work hard, because everybody is doing what you're doing. So the early bird catches the worm. And then this is my motto when I train athletes, because I train anywhere from basketball players to football to soccer to baseball, all of those sports. I teach speed and agility. But I also let them know when they come to me, and I let their parents know, winners train, losers complain. Which one are you? And I want that kid to answer, I'm a winner, because you are a winner. Now let's go to work. And when I say work, you say hard. Work hard, work hard, work hard. Because at the end of the day, again, you cannot hide hard work.
That's it. That's it. And then you're changing lives, and I love the story. I love your journey today, and your journey continues to evolve. And even where you are today, it didn't come without adversity. We didn't go into
That's right.
We didn't go through a lot of stuff. I don't know if you want to touch on that now, but you went through some adversity even after the Olympics, which actually, again, it could have changed your life even further, but you didn't allow it to. It could have changed your life in a negative way, but you didn't allow it to. So again, I don't know if you want to touch on that. If you do, we can. If not, we can just go into what else you have going. What the other things that you have going on.
Well, the thing about I would touch on just a little when you talk about adversity. Either whatever you're going through is either gonna make you or it's gonna break you.
Right.
And the thing about going through adversity, if you have a great support system there that's feeding you positive things instead of negative things, you can pull out of that adversity. But because I have come from a strong background that has been there for me, I have overcome a lot of adversity. So don't think because I'm, talking about what I've done, the path that I have been has not been a pretty path.
Mm-hmm. And this is what people need to understand, because you look at the end result, and that's fantastic. You got the end result. But as we do on this show, we talk about the journey, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because
that's right.
At the end of the day, without that journey, you have no story.
That's right. That's right. And my story during that period of time has been a journey that I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that looks good ain't always good, because see, the smile that I wore on my face for 20 years, it was only there to fool the public.
Mm-hmm.
A face of a clown, tears of a clown.
And you did that, and it was hard for you to do.
Yes, and especially being a single parent and trying to raise your kid thinking that you're married.
Mm-hmm. And it's tough. I mean, for any single parent, it's tough. But again, when you face that adversity as you have, and we're not going too deep into that here, but we will at a future date. But it forced you to either make a choice, as you said.
Yes.
You're
you're either gonna live or you're gonna die.
Right.
And I chose to live.
And in your case, that's literal.
Yes.
Yeah. That was either you're gonna live or you're gonna die, and you you made a choice to fight and live, and I commend you on that. So just and I'm happy that has not jaded you. That didn't kill your spirit.
Yes.
It could have.
Because it could have.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, women that have been through that, or people that have been through that, you get your spirit killed. There's no prosthetic for that. Once that's gone, that's it. It's
gone. It's hard to get back.
Yeah.
And because I'm blessed, because I am a strong woman. I'm blessed because God has never left me. I will tell you at a later date if I can have the opportunity to come back on your show.
Okay, yeah, no, for sure. That's why I didn't want to get into too much here. So we'll because we have to actually leave that for a later date, because that's going to be a conversation within itself. And for our listeners out there, Sharrieffa and myself, we're going to do a special series, and we're going to make the announcement at some point in the next week or so, and it's going to be one that you want to tune into, because it may, and I know it's going to help a lot of people that may be going through certain things in their life, and it's actually going to help you to get through it because you're going to see someone that did. And that's all that I'm going to get into here. But what I want to do, Shariffa, because you and I can do this show for hours and hours, but
Yes.
but we don't have that time. Do me a favor. Can you give your website information for the summer camp and give your social media information to our listeners so they can follow you and see what's going on, and so they can go see what's going on with you, your kids, everything else, and your superstar family.
Okay, my camp website is www.mbtfa.com.
Okay.
And my Twitter account is SBark 1984, and that's also my Instagram. I look forward to you all following me because I have a lot of positive saying on my Twitter account and Instagram, and I'm Sharrieffa Barksdale on Facebook, and I look forward to hearing from you and sharing positive input in your lives.
There you go. And for all the listeners out there, definitely you want to stay on top of Sharrieffa Barksdale's, other chapters in her life that are going on, because she's doing some good out there. She's helping kids out, helping athletes out. And trust me, you have these young athletes that are at our camp. These are potentially future Olympians. So you're going to hear a lot about her, more than you have. And I hope that her story inspired you, because you sure inspired me. And Sharrieffa, I want to thank you for coming on and taking the time. And because I know right now you're in the middle of your season, so we had to actually etch this out. It took us a couple of weeks to do it, but we got it done.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And again, Lou, thank you once again for having me on your show and giving me an opportunity to speak on your platform.
No, it's my pleasure, and thank you for coming on. And we're going to have you on again, and we're going to make the announcement for the future shows. And for our listeners, thank you for tuning in. And make sure you go to ucwmagazine.com, check out the other shows, and see the other great guests we have coming on. And we have some more interesting guests and great stories to share with you guys. So make sure you come back.
Initiating shutdown sequence.
You're listening to UCW Radio. In your face.
What is your major malfunction?
So let it be written. So let it be done.
Ladies and gentlemen, my mother thanks you, my father thanks you, my sister thanks you, and I thank you.